Coming up on Nittany Game Week.
He scored! Was it Fink?
I think Fink got a piece of it.
It's been a smooth transition for Aiden Fink from Hockey Valley to the professional ranks, while he's already earned a multiple-year contract with an NHL club and the other former Nittany Lions that are having success after their playing days in college.
He's never been afraid of putting in the work that it takes to get to the level that he wants to be at.
The next level for Drew Aller is the NFL, and he hopes to hear his name called at the draft in Pittsburgh. Why his former high school coach is confident Aller's drive and motivation will lead him to success in the National Football League.
In all honesty, this is how we see ourselves. I think we're not one for moral victories, and I think if I was satisfied, I think that shows that I don't believe in them.
And the Nittany Lions women's lacrosse team wraps up their season against another ranked opponent. How a tough schedule down the stretch prepares them for what's ahead in the postseason. This is Nittany Game Week. Hello everyone and welcome to Nittany Game Week. I'm Todd Sadowski alongside Ryan Yee. It is mid-April, the traditional time for the annual Blue-White Weekend, but that's coming soon. Right now we have a handful of spring programs working on a strong finish to their regular season before the playoffs begin.
Yeah, that's right, Todd. We start off with women's lacrosse, who continue their gauntlet of ranked games. Up next, number 7th ranked Johns Hopkins, a big test ahead of tournament time in our opening drive.
It's the final regular season game at home for the Nittany Lions, and it's a good one. The number 7th ranked Johns Hopkins Blue Jays pay a visit to Panzer Stadium. A defensive battle to start, but it's Penn State that draws blood first. Just over 6 minutes in, Erica Ho connects with Peyton Wainman, who buries the chance and makes it 1-0 PSU. And it would be a theme of this ranked matchup. Back and forth we go. Knotted at 1, Delaney Radin hits guess who? Wainman again. Same spot, same result. Tack another one on the board. Penn State retake a 2-1 lead on a play that breaks Penn State's single-season team assist record.
We've played against a lot of zones this year, so you see more assisted goals when you're playing against a zone. But I think overall it's just that they really share the ball and everybody's a threat. It's not like a one-man show. So, we're always looking for assisted goals.
And of course, the great passing would continue. Tied back up at 3. Check this out. A behind-the-back feed from Rockette Allen is on the money for Anna Salerno, who finishes the beauty of a play. Penn State leads 4-3. Under a minute later, momentum builds for the Nittany Lions. Allen continuing to show those playmaking abilities, this time setting up Maggie Reza for her first of the game. She would end up with 2 to double her season total.
Oh, I'm so pumped for Maggie. We had Maddie Greco go out early in the game, and Maggie Reza stepped up, and we've been, working her in the lineup kind of all year, but she was just excellent. And talk about a kid who made plays when you needed to, and she did that for us tonight.
Jump ahead to the final minutes of the third quarter, 6-5 in favor of Penn State, and to retake a 2-goal lead towards him watchlister, Erica Ho rifles a shot. No chance for the Johns Hopkins goalie, 7-5 Nittany Lions. And then in the fourth, Penn State holding on to that lead. They add some insurance with a Kelly McKinney goal set up by Ho to put the Nittany Lions up 9-7. However, Johns Hopkins not going down without a fight, force overtime, and ultimately score the game winner. Penn State falls short in a heartbreaker 10-9 final. A game that emphasizes to Coach Kayla Trainer when it comes to these ranked battles, it comes down to the fine margins.
They're a great defensive unit. I think we had a good game plan and we changed things up throughout the game. Like I said, it's just about our opportunities we get, we got to bury them. We're not one for moral victories, and I think if I was satisfied, I think that shows that I don't believe in them. I think we should have won this game, and it's unfortunate. We had opportunities to win it, and being really competitive is making plays when you need it, and we have to do that.
The season finale up next for the Nittany Lions, wrapping up with a trip to Rutgers for the number 22nd ranked Scarlet Knights.
Did you say a trip to Rutgers? That sounds familiar.
It does.
The men's lacrosse team also completes their regular season in Piscataway against a ranked Rutgers team. They're 19th in this week's polls. Not sure if they'll get another home game this season, so the seniors soak up the atmosphere at Panzer Stadium when they face unranked Michigan last weekend. It's actually a sophomore, Hunter Aquino, that gets PSU on the board first. The offense is a little sickly in the first half against the Wolverines, so they get a spark from freshman goalie Preston Hawkins. Stands in, makes a great save, then a quick outlet pass ignites the fast break. It goes up to John King at midfield, and he does the rest. Sprints in, fires, and scores, brings PSU to within 2. Now, one of the guys leaving his mark on the program as a senior is Luke Wallstrom. Some plays you have to slow down to appreciate. Wallstrom dives and scores, gives up the body to tie the game at 5. The Lions celebrates in the stands, a 6-4 record coming into this game, and those 4 losses are by 5 goals. Michigan with possession, high-class spin move to the middle by Luke Shanahan, who nets the game winner with less than 13 seconds to spare.
Extremely frustrated and disappointed, to be honest with you, after winning games 1 and 2 against Maryland and then on the road against Ohio State. I just feel like we've gotten away a little bit of who we are, from our identity. There's definitely been a renewed sense of connection. And I think it's going to be really important for us to just try to get back to where we were, a little bit more simplistic, prior to that stretch against Yale, Cornell, Carolina, Maryland, Ohio State, where we were playing much more collaborative, much harder, and much more stylistically.
Senior Day festivities, a big part of the day as they honor a special group of athletes that rack up a lot of important wins for the blue and white. After Rutgers is the Big Ten tournament, which starts on April 25th.
The payoff pitch from Britton. Swing and a miss. She got her.
PSU gets a midweek home game with Bucknell and rounds itself into shape in this one. It's important to use your brains to create chaos and an opportunity. Nittany Lions take advantage of a double steal situation to get Brianna Hannock home with the game's first run. Then they use the brawn, the second inning. Few runners on, Hannock unloads on this offering, and it sails over the wall in center field. They take care of business in 5 innings and are back on the road this weekend in Columbus for a 3-game set with Ohio State. While there is still plenty of time left in the softball and baseball regular seasons, the football team is under some deadline pressure. With spring practices winding down, Coach Matt Campbell and his staff are utilizing every possible minute to implement the new systems and get everyone as comfortable as possible before the final blue-white practice.
I think both sides of the ball, and really on special teams, my whole mission for us is let's get good at something that we can lean into and make sure we can evaluate our football team, and then whatever adjustments we have to make as we get into the summer, that's kind of our responsibility. But I think anytime you're coming into a situation, man, you really like to find out what your guys can do and feel like you have a pretty good idea going into it, and kind of tailor make the foundation of it around that, and then really build so you don't build too fast so you have a bunch of mistakes.
After the blue-white weekend passes, Coach will rely on the players to get together and work on the things they learn in the spring. A new QB with Rocco Becht, now the starter. And of course, they have to replace the production of Nick Singleton and Katron Allen in the backfield. Singleton, Allen, and QB Drew Aller will find out soon if their NFL dreams come true. The draft is next week in Pittsburgh, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. All 3 were in Happy Valley last month for the Penn State Pro Day. Aller threw there and at the Combine in Indianapolis. He says he's happy to throw for anyone to get evaluated, and also discusses the challenging task of reading defense in the pros.
Obviously defensive coordinators, but all those players that are playing 5-7 years in the league, like, they're very smart and they know how to disguise things, and trying to just break down as many defenses as we could just to get familiar with it. And then obviously when you get to your team, like, they'll install like what they call different defenses and coverages, and then when we get into game planning, like, it'll go from there. But it's been fun. Like, I've always watched a ton of NFL tape in general, both offense and defense, so it's something that I've kind of just grown on and built on.
One of the guys who fully supports Aller and believes he will have success in the NFL is his former high school coach in Medina, Ohio. Coach Larry Laird has seen Aller grow and mature as a player and person, and he's excited about his chance to prove he belongs among the best.
His drive, even when he was in high school here, made us believers because he is a football junkie. Can't watch enough film, and we saw that even when he was here. And that's what it takes to be that top-level quarterback in the NFL or be one of 32 starters in the NFL is that drive and be ready and know the answers to the test before the test is even given when the snap comes.
The first round of the draft is Thursday night, rounds 2 and 3 on Friday, with the remaining rounds 4 through 7 on Saturday in the Steel City. Aller is projected to go on day 2 with interest from the Rams and the Steelers. Coming up, a debate hosted in State College that addresses one of the biggest topics in college sports, whether athletes should or should not be paid. More Nittany Game Week is on the way.
The opening drive is sponsored by R&R Express. Every shipment moved contributes to autism research and inclusion through the Excel Foundation. Learn more at wearerr.com. Brought to you by West Shore Home, official partner of Penn State football.
Welcome back to Nittany Game Week. It's one of the hottest topics in all of college sports, whether athletes should or should not be paid. This week, a debate hosted at Penn State features a familiar name and addresses that very question.
What happens when you pit a sports philosopher against a sports historian in a debate on one of the hottest topics in college athletics, all moderated by a former Penn State football player?
No, that isn't what I'm talking about.
Well, it was something students, faculty members, and others in the Penn State community were not going to miss.
I think the big turnout today is a testimony to how much sport matters to people. It matters to Penn State fans and so forth, how well our teams do. It adds quality to our life because we love rooting for our teams. So I think that's what the turnout is about. People are worried about the future of sport.
This week, Penn State's Department of Kinesiology hosted a debate on one question: should college athletes be paid? As you can imagine, the opinions are polarizing.
I think athletes should get paid just like a person who's a musician that has a gig and gets paid. Athletes should get paid. You get 105,000 people coming to see a game. It's a confusing time, and my point is that they got to get the athletes involved if they want to solve the problem.
My bottom line is we need to protect intercollegiate sport. We need to protect competitive equity. And that means that we have to rein in the transfer portal, and we have to put some kind of caps on spending.
For former Penn State offensive lineman Landon Tangwall, the moderator for the event, there was no shortage of insight that he and the rest of the audience took away.
Well, I took away that not a lot of people are in agreement on this. I mean, we got people on both sides, and no, these are two great educators that both bring up really great points, and I think that is why this is so difficult, because there's not one right answer, and you're trying to get everybody to agree on one common outcome.
A debate that, no matter who you agreed with, hopefully added some clarity to an ever-evolving collegiate sports landscape.
It's a confused situation for the National Collegiate Athletic Association, for Penn State, for the conferences, for the transfer portal, and all of that kind of thing. And what Scott and I were trying to do is tell a couple different sides of the story. And I think we did that.
Well, this is a perfect segue. Coming off the debate story, a handful of Penn State hockey players are making a very successful transition from the college ranks to the pros.
Tipped it back to the line. He scored! Was it Fink?
I think Fink got a piece of it.
Aiden Fink's prolific scoring skills translate immediately to the professional ranks. He quickly lights it up with the Milwaukee Admirals in the American Hockey League. 10 points in his first 6 games, including 3 goals. The parent club, the Nashville Predators, quickly take notice and sign Fink to a 3-year entry-level contract.
All 3 years I developed a lot. I learned, I gained new brotherhoods there. Went into school with 4 other guys, and those are my brothers for life. So I'm always remembered, and it was an unbelievable 3 years at Penn State, and I'm excited to be a Nittany Lion for life.
Aiden's not the only Nittany Lion lighting the lamp in the AHL.
Wheels, centers, bouncing puck, shot, scores! Matt DeMarsico, his first professional goal.
Former PSU teammate Matt DeMarsico puts up 3 points in his first 2 games with the Colorado Avalanche's affiliate, the Colorado Eagles. Both guys wearing number 81 in the pros. And here's the NHL rookie lap for goalie Arseny Sergeyev. He makes his debut for Calgary and posts a solid 3-1 victory over LA for his first career victory. Up next, our impact interview with Landon Tengwall, who we saw in the debate story, what he's been up to after his football career and why he is launching a future in the media world. Nittany Game Week returns after this.
Welcome back to Nittany Game Week. It's time for our Impact interview, and this week we caught up with former Penn State football player Landon Tengwall, who was the moderator of the paid college athlete debate that we highlighted earlier. And for Tengwall, it was an opportunity that highlights how he's transitioned from player to podcast host and other post-football career endeavors.
When someone asks Landon Tengwall, what do you do for a living now? What is it that you respond with when someone does ask you that question?
Yeah, I just say I talk about college football on YouTube. That's pretty much what I say. I will say I do not, even though I graduated at Penn State with a degree in broadcast journalism, I don't consider myself a journalist because I view myself as more of a commentator. I talk about things that go on. I don't break news. Generally, that's not really the world that I live in. And I do a lot of the film breakdowns, the pregame, postgame show, and so I look at it as a community of people where they can come and just learn different football knowledge, but I also try to have bring a comedic value, have fun with it.
That decision, though, not an easy one to transition from football. What was that decision like?
Yeah, it was so difficult because I was going into my second year, starting my third year. I'm thinking, hey, either this year or next year, NFL, I'm going to make millions of dollars, and that's going to be my life. And I thought that from a very young age. So the second that's not you anymore, and you're not Landon Tengwall, the football player, you're just Landon Tengwall, you have this look inward of who actually am I? What is my identity? What do I like to do outside of football? Because that's all I've done since I was 8 years old is play football. And I've only been known as, that's Landon Tengwall, the football player. And so it really made me kind of, like I said, look inward and try to figure out what else do I love to do. And thankfully, my now fiance, I was going through that, what am I going to do with my life, and kind of asked, what do you like to do? And I said, I like my broadcast journalism. Com 360 class here at Penn State is kind of news production. And she hooked me up with someone on the local Fox radio. And from there, I did it for about 6 months straight. And I was at the Penn State golf course. And I had an elderly woman come up to me and she said, are you Landon Tengwall? And I said, yes, ma'am. And she said, I love your show on the radio. And that was the moment where it clicked for me, where I said, okay, I can go off on my own and I can make content and I think I'm going to be successful. And so from that moment on, I said how much I love those interactions. That interaction at the Penn State golf course with some lady that I haven't seen since really sparked that I know I can do this.
How do you balance that dynamic, or how do you attack that when you are a commentator on the team that you used to play for?
Yeah, I feel very confident that if you asked anybody that consumes Penn State football content, that they would say I'm one of the most honest just commentators out there, because as much as I love Penn State, that was a decision I made early on, and I've always wanted to give my honest opinion. I like to talk. That's why I was in broadcast journalism, and so I definitely pride myself on anybody that tunes into my show. They know they are going to get my full, honest truth and how I feel about whatever topic I'm talking about, and there's not going to be a sugar coat, or there's not going to be this other side of it that I have this relationship, so I'm not going to say something. I will say I've had former teammates, I've had coaches, I've had people text me, DM me, hey, why did you say this? And I'll say back, I'll say, look, do you disagree with it? Is that not true? And so I stand on what I say, but I think it's so important, especially in this day and age of media, that you feel you are getting a source that is actually going to give you the truth.
Thank you, Landon, for his time. Make sure you go to NittanyGameWeek.com for the entire conversation, along with other web-exclusive content like our Nittany Connect network of businesses and the Nittany Game Week podcast. Don't go anywhere. Still to come, another Penn Stater makes the jump from college to the pros. Find out who next. We're heading into the final minutes on Nittany Game Week.
Nittany Game Week is brought to you by West Shore Home, official partner of Penn State football.
And in the home stretch of this episode of Nittany Game Week, love to see Penn State athletes making the jump to the pros. And this week, it was men's lacrosse's Alex Ross who was selected 8th overall to the New York Atlas. Coach Tambroni proud to see one of his own take their talents to the pro stage.
Very proud of Alex and an extremely well-deserved honor to go in the first round. I think he has certainly been overlooked in our opinion, and continues to play an exceptional brand of lacrosse. So excited for him that he was even drafted, excited that he was drafted in the first round. And I think it's just really neat that he's going to be able to partner back up with Maddie, and it'll be fun to go watch those guys play.
Ross now joins 8 other former Nittany Lions in the PLL, and even cooler, Ross joins last season's 6th overall pick, Matt Trainer, on the New York Atlas. We now also give a shout out to some other Penn State athletes who are excelling in this week's Dean's List. First, in men's wrestling, junior Shane Van Ness is among 14 student athletes named to the Big Ten as the conference's Sportsmanship Award winners, recognizing the top athletes in good academic standing and demonstrate good citizenship outside of competition. In women's tennis, Maylee Monfils was named Big Ten Player of the Week after going 3-0 against Indiana and Purdue. She is the first Penn Stater to win the award since Maiko Uchichima last October. And in men's hockey, if the awards list couldn't get any longer for this freshman, men's hockey's Gavin McKenna is named to the AHCA second team All-American. He is the 4th Penn State player to earn All-American status. Congrats to this week's Dean's List honorees.
We are bringing PSU fans and alumni together with our Nittany Connect network at NittanyGameWeek.com. The idea is to partner with businesses that support the show and let our viewers know about their great products and services. And there is just one stop for all of our web exclusive content, airtimes for all of our network of stations, previous episodes, and impact interviews. It all can be found at NittanyGameWeek.com.
And while you're visiting the website, make sure to submit your tailgating and fan picks from whatever sport you are supporting. We always finish with the show with some pride picks to show us your spirit.
All right, for Ryan, I'm Todd. Thanks so much for watching Nittany Game Week. We'll see you next time.